Okay, so you can see here that we are going to do like a live review of Until Dawn.
Wow!
So this game is made by, it's a PlayStation exclusive made by Supermassive Games.
Massive
Effect, but fuck, this game came out, what was it, August
25th, I believe.
August 25th. And it's a choice-based kind of point-and-click horror game, so we'll get to see a little bit of that here. So I'm just gonna go to this chapter because it's interesting to watch. So
You have beaten the game.
I've beaten the game.
I don't know shit about this game, but I'm here to ask questions for Keith to answer.
All right. What are your questions there, sir?
I don't know.
So the basic premise of the story is, it's actually cool. You're seeing this right here. Is that a year before the real events of the game, these two girls who are twins, they go missing.
It's a Ouija board?
It's a Ouija board. And basically, their brother, which is that guy right there, his name's Josh, and their friends are getting together kind of on the anniversary of it for remembrance, but then some shit starts happening involving psychopath and stuff like that. So, this game is heavily choice-driven. I'll get into some aspects of it here in a second while I explain it. So, it's very much a horror game. Like, the horror movie tropes do exist. Like the jock and the popular girl, like you just see, are, hot for each other, trying to make sex. Make it to sex. But, yeah, this game, it's very story-driven, so if you're into that kind of experience, it's cool. And, you get into a lot of weird stuff. So one of the things that came out about this game is that it's possible for every character to live and it's possible for every character to die. So your choices really do matter. So that's choices of the game. So for things like this, you can pick which path you want to take and you flip the right stick. So I'm going to take a shortcut. I'm going to go this way. And so usually going down a path or something like this, you'll have quick time events. Like most point-and-click games. And the quick time events are really quick in this game. They're kind of unforgiving at times. So,
that seems kind of neat, though. You have to react like if you were actually in this situation.
Yeah. So, and there's a lot of quick time events. There's all kinds of choices from, how you interact with a character to, again, how you approach a situation like this. Like, also, situations like this, I can look around and see shit. And one of the things that's interesting about this game, which is, obviously you're going to compare this game mostly to like Telltale games, because they're the big name in terms of this style of gameplay. And I feel like it's on par with Telltale games. Alright, why not? So we'll take the safe route, just for the sake of it, so I can explain a little bit more. I've not gone this route ever since while playing this game, so I don't know what's going to happen. But, with Telltale games, it's such a personal experience. You're dealing with Clementine or Lee or whatever character it happens to be for that story, and it's interesting that this game it kind of takes the personal aspect out of it. You're playing as, I think, 9 different characters at some point in the game. You get to play as 9 different people, so and it makes it interesting. Really quick before I get off topic, the quick time events, they do matter. So like if I don't hit anything right here, shit like that happens, and it'll, sometimes how quickly you can get through a certain set of things is important. But what I was saying about Telltale is that, it's not as personal. So since you don't care as much, in a way, it does make the choices a little bit harder, in a way, if that makes sense. Because you're not really thinking about you, you're thinking about a character, because you're seeing the character from their perspective and you're seeing it from other people's perspectives. And then the other thing that's interesting is, as you've seen with all the path choices here, even all the dialogue choices, you have 2 choices and that's it. Whereas Telltale, you're usually given like a positive choice, a negative choice, and then like a middle choice, and then you have the option to not react. You don't have that option. You get the 2 extremes, and that's kind of it with this game. But yeah, that's the whole choice system. So I like it. I think it's a nice change of pace from, Telltale, because it's a different art style, which is nice, and then also it's just kind of done differently. You know, playing Telltale, you know, the interface is kind of the same in all the games. So at least this is like different. So I forget what's happening here, but so now again, you use left stick to explore, and instead of having a cursor, when you move the right stick, you move your lantern around, and that's how you can see. So like I'm not sure if there's, I don't remember if there's anything around here, but if there's something like that's an object of interest, the little white light will glow. So you can look around a little bit and explore. And you also get to see the camera work, which I think is one of the best aspects of this game. Whereas you see it's a very fixed camera point, where the Telltale games will kind of follow you. This will work differently, you know. As you can see, I'm going to go down these steps, and the camera's not really following me. So it's, you know, it adds the eerie atmosphere. There's times where, like, I think it's like here, I'm going to go down this hallway here, and the camera's going to stay right the fuck here. And it's like, oh. And it just adds the creepy atmosphere to it in a way. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to say right now. Well, we'll continue on to the next part, and then we'll, you can ask a couple questions if you want, and then I'll do a couple things.
Game's pretty.
Game is pretty. I like it.
I think the character models and animations seem very, very good from the little bit that I've seen.
Yeah, so that's one of the things. The game does a good job of like seamlessly kind of going from, in some instances of the gameplay to the cutscene. Well, one of the things that's actually really interesting here is, you know, one thing I do know from another playthrough is you see she's still alive. That if I would have taken the safe route, or if I would have somehow managed to mess up every single one of those QuickTime events, like, she might not live, because you didn't make it there in time, like.
Yeah.
And there is some shooting aspects, so you have to deal with shit like this, so, like, I can pop and do that. So there is some shooting, but it's usually like that, just moving the right stick over and hitting the right trigger, so. There are a lot of cinematics. That would be one thing that maybe I can see maybe turning some people off, is that it's mostly stuff like this and doing other things. Fucking let's see. Once we get through this section, I'll show all the what's the word I'm looking for? The collectibles and the things like that in the game, because they're actually some of the more interesting parts of the whole game. So like you see, like all the QuickTime events are like fucking. And then you get like a lot of them, and you have to pay attention. Like if you hit the wrong button, you'll still fuck up, obviously. So, and there's multiple instances where every character can die. I think most characters have at least 2, if not 3 or 4 places where it's like, yeah, you can kill them here, which is interesting. So, yeah. So, yeah, because and then again, choices, even stuff like that. Because I fired my shot before, because I didn't necessarily have to, I couldn't shoot him there. So, even things like that, like, the game does do that a couple times, where you can choose to, like, something like that pops up, and it might actually be better for you to not do anything.
Is this game worth $60 to you? Because I'm going to say this. Is it worth $60 for one playthrough? Because it seems like the value in it is the replayability of multiple choices.
In the one playthrough, I probably would say no.
Because it's about, what, 10 hours long?
It's 8 to 10 hours, depending on how you go through it. And then, like I said, there's a trophy for having everybody survive. There's a trophy for everybody dying. There's a couple other trophies. And I'm holding up on this for a second so I can explain something. And then, I think these, because they're separate trophies, I think you have to do these separately. There's a trophy for having all the guys survive, and a trophy for having all the girls survive. Plus certain things for making particular choices throughout the story. Now here is one of the only really big pet peeves I have in this game, which is anytime you have to interact with something. You hit the right trigger, and and then you gotta do the touchpad and shit like that. Now that's fine, but then there's a part in this chapter right before this where I have to shut these 2 shutters on the window in that cabin where you saw in the beginning when I was about to almost get laid. You have to hit the right trigger and flip the right stick to the left to shut the right one. And then you have to hit the right trigger again and do the exact same thing, tedious, to knock the other one over. Like literally for everything. If you want to pick something up, you want to rotate it around, which is cool, but like everything, right trigger, flicking the stick. Everything. It's like the only thing that like gets me sometimes.
It seems like if you were closing the right one, you would use the right trigger, and then if you're doing the left one, you would do
Or
the left trigger.
or it's like one prompt.
Yeah,
But
yeah, that too.
so okay, so now we're at this part. Can I do it? Yeah, I can. So I'll show off. So this is the butterfly effect, the character info screen. So now one thing that it does, which I mess with too much, you can track these characters' traits, whereas lines is where on the left side is their characteristics before you start, and then the other side is their characteristics with their relationship with different people. And then the collectibles, and they go through all playthroughs, collectibles, so there's the twins, which is investigating what happened to the 2 girls in the beginning. There's some stuff about a mining accident in the 1950s, and then there's this mysterious guy, the psycho, and this is all stuff catering to him. And then probably the coolest part of this game is the fucking totems. So basically, you have death totems, guidance totems, lost totems, danger totems, and fortune. So death totems, you click on it, and the character that finds it, it'll actually show you how that character can die. Guidance totems, just to make you aware of a certain choice that you can make. You know, so it doesn't tell you how you lead up to the death or how you lead up to the choice or any of the other ones. It just shows you the possibility. And then lost totems is somebody else dying. So that danger totems is here's something that could happen. You know, this is a possibility. And then
Is this stuff foreshadowing?
yeah,
Or is
like
this after the fact?
no, you find like these before. Like these are preparing you for it. It's like
I got you.
and then the fortune ones are like this is something good that can happen. So and you find a bunch of these, and then finding them, you get the shit of the events of the past. But I haven't. Like I said, I'm missing only like I guess 7 totems, which I could probably find by going through other parts of the game. So for the most part, that's the game. You kind of it has an interesting cast. It has Hayden Panettiere, who's from like Heroes, the TV show. I had the guy's name a second ago. I don't remember what it was. But there's a character, Dr. Hill, whom after the during the first half of the game, after each chapter, you talk to him in a psychiatrist's office, and it seems kind of meta, and you're trying to figure out who you are and what the heck why is this happening, and then without spoilers, later on in the game you find out what happens. So yeah, I mean, there's not much to go into the game besides without getting spoilers, but it's a fun game. Like I don't regret getting this game because I'm probably gonna play through the game like probably once because to get through all the 4 trophies that are associated with beating the game. And your choices, and one thing again to compare it with Telltale games, your choices do kind of matter. I'll go back to the game for a little bit, even though we'll probably wrap it up here. Like your fate might not be directly tied to your character. Without spoilers, I treated a character like an asshole as one of my characters. And because of that, she didn't save me when I was playing as that character. So I died. So like your choice as to how you treat other characters does matter. So you spend a lot of time in this cabin, but like yeah, there's collectibles, so it's like so that's what I meant earlier by the little white light. And all you have to do is look. So like even though I'm not nowhere near it, I can shine my light over there by the door, and it'll tell me, hey, that's the thing that you can do over there. And then there's this one which again I pick right trigger to pick it up, and then you like use the right stick to rotate it around because sometimes there's more to the clues than you let on. So,
But Order 1886 had something like that. You didn't have it wasn't like goofy controls, but you would pick stuff up and then just rotate it around. And you're kind of like, what do I do with this?
Yeah. So
Type of thing.
I mean, it's this game. If I had to give one of two problems that this game has, which is the wonky stuff here. What am I doing? What's happening? Why was I don't know why that happened, but okay. And it's also that which happens with these kind of games that this is much of the game, whereas much of the story you're going to get from is going to be cutscenes and maybe flicking the right stick to make a decision and quick time events.
Yeah.
But all in all, I enjoy this game. I would definitely recommend it. If I had to give a rating, I mean, I give this game an 8 out of 10. It's fun. I enjoy very heavily story-oriented games, and this is definitely a very story-heavy game. So
Seems like a fun, interactive horror movie.
yeah, I can see that this all because there actually is the choice of you can hide under the bed or you can run away. You can choose to fight or you can choose to hide. So it's it's fun. I mean, I can understand it not being everybody's cup of tea, but
I feel like this game surprised people.
Yeah.
That it was, that it's a good game. I feel like people didn't expect it to be, but it is. It's cool.
This is the best application of choice and the best application of horror I think I've seen. Because again, there are jump scares. I think you can it's kind of unavoidable at this point. But just from watching this, you can probably tell the atmosphere is very creepy. So it's like, just blood spatter and then boom, the camera's not going to follow me and I'm moving down the hallway.
Is the sound good? Does
Sound
it
is
have good horror sound?
Yeah, the soundtrack's really good, and then of course everything's loud when it's supposed to pop out and shit and things like that. So, solid game, solid game. I would recommend it. I mean, if you're not one for playing games over and over again, this is an easy platinum. I'm gonna do it. I don't want to do it immediately. Like I might, maybe do another playthrough and then put the game away for a while and come back to it later. But I'd definitely say if you're not into this kind of game, I'd say it's definitely for one playthrough probably worth like $40. So if you want to wait till it's like $40, then I get it because it's fun and it's not that hard. And then again, I don't feel the emotional attachment to characters, so it's not like Walking Dead where sometimes you feel like I don't want to do another playthrough of this because it's like I want to stand by this, whereas now there's reason to. So good game, cool. So so this is Review of Until Dawn. You can see live gameplay and such of it. Like, subscribe, all that good shit, and tell us what you think of it, and we'll see you guys later. Bye.